Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets Crypto, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 25th of March. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at ctmcrypto.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 3 days. All right, we're still seeing, we're actually seeing, it's a very confusing situation in the Iran war at the moment in terms of equities, but equities is currently up 40, even though the Iranians are basically refusing to have talks. We're getting an awful lot of news about talks from the administration, which honestly I don't believe any of at the moment, but it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But next week, I would note, is a holiday week. So if we are going to see a rally, next week would be a great time to see it. We will see how that goes. But at the moment, I'm thinking that in terms of equities, if we're going to see a rally next week, great. But unless there is some sort of resolution on the war, then we're probably going to be seeing SPX drop another 10%. In the next few weeks, to the obvious support area near 5,000. Sorry, 6,000. I think it's 6,000, and that would be the obvious time for these flags to play out. So at the moment, crypto is holding. Well, Bitcoin is holding above the daily middle band. I've got that 7266. 50 DMAs across the board are now under the daily middle band. In terms of the hourly charts, no current divergence. And we are in the flag. We're rallying. Ideally, on here and Solana particularly, we would see retest the highs, set up double tops, and then that would be the path back down to the retest of the low. But it wouldn't quite get us there. No, it would get us there, actually. So that's what I'd quite like to see. Doesn't need to do the full retest. We will see how it goes. I've got declining resistance currently in the 78,000 area, and I'm not expecting in all probability to get that far, but it is possible. We shall see how it goes. Do we have an inverted head and shoulders forming here? Yes, I think we do. So let's have a quick look at that. That would be here. As you can see, it's a bit oversized. Well, I'm just going to take a minute to go through this, but we've got an IHS here. If that breaks up, then what we're looking at is, hang on 1 second, right. It's a little oversized, but if we were looking at it, that would get us back up into the retest of the high. At least I think it's a bit oversized. Let's see. All right. So in practical terms, the real target would be here. So that would be at the retest of the prior high. So it's not a bad way to get there. We will see how that goes. All right, great. Looking at Solana. Solana, on the daily chart, we're at 92.51. That's 4 handles above the daily middle band as well. We've got, again, I'm wondering about a retest of the high. Again, that could set up a nice looking double top, which could get us back to 77 area, which isn't to retest the low, but would get us a considerable distance towards it. Here, do we have an IHS? Yes, we do. So let's mark that in too. This one is significantly oversized. But again, technically not bad. So let's have a look at that too. Now, I'm just drawing the arrows. Now, if this is depending on good news from the war, well, I'm skeptical about that, because at the moment, the only good news I'm seeing is from the Trump administration, and none of that is being confirmed by anything that's coming from Iran. And without the cooperation of Iran, it's going to be very difficult to stop this war. And Iran at the moment are basically demanding the Americans surrender, i.e. pay reparations, admit fault, give security guarantees, and let the missile program go on unchecked, in which case I suspect they would develop a nuclear weapon. All right, this one's a bit oversized, but again, not unduly so. and that one has already broken up, and that would have obviously a target again and a retest of the high at 97.66. Looking at looking at Ethereum. Again, over the daily middle band, we're at 21.72 versus 21.09. The flag is less good here, as I've commented before. No divergence on the hourly chart. In terms of, do we have an IHS here? Yes, we do. So I'm just going to measure that into. All right, so these inverted head and shoulders, they do not need to make target. Obviously, like any inverted head and shoulders, they can, or head and shoulders, they can fail. So this one isn't quite as nice, which is pretty much par for the course on everything forming on Ethereum at the moment. But we've got a not bad looking little pattern here. It is a bit oversized again. Or is it? Actually, this one might not be oversized. Hasn't broken up yet, but yeah, actually, this one's almost exactly the right size. So if that breaks up, that takes us back up to the highs. Those are the patterns I'm thinking may well be playing out over the next few days. The market seems keen to be optimistic, even if I'm not actually seeing much reason why. We'll see how that develops, but ideally, we'd go back, retest all those highs, set up double tops, and set up patterns to go lower, and I would be expecting it to go lower. So these are all likely to be flags. These are all likely to go back and retest the lows. And there's every reason to think that in a few days, and possibly sooner than that, the S&P and the others are going to give us a move in which, in sympathy, we might well see that decline into the low retest. We will see how it goes. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.